Hi everyone, hope you join me today in filling a page or two of your sketchbook as I sketch and simplify common flowers and potted plants. These have been helpful to me when I see a flower vase or small plants on a cafe table or in a planter in front of a house, building, or storefront in an urban sketch setting. These can easily be simplified, and if there is a flower or plant that you don't recognize in a reference photo or when you're out and about on site and want to sketch quickly, you can easily replace them with any of these. You're basically creating your own illustrated dictionary. All right, let's start drawing. In some of the example images, there will be bouquets, but I'm going to keep the amount of flowers or leaves in the plants I draw to a minimum for time's sake. I decided to sketch the hardest first, at least for me, which are the daisies. That being said, as urban sketchers, we rarely focus on the details of the plants or flowers, but as we build our skills in the details, they will be more clear in our sketches, and in general, it's just good to know the structure of everything we draw. Learning how to draw what a subject actually looks like will help in simplifying. At least for me, it does, especially when drawing roses or really petal heavy flowers and leafy plants. You'll notice too that over every plant or flower that I'm drawing, I am writing their name in block letters. And that's just also so I can practice writing in block letters. So if you guys feel like you need practice, either in block letters or cursive or any type of writing, that's also good to add to your sketchbook. I'm not sure why I feel the daisy is the most difficult for me to draw. I think because it was one of, if not the first flower I ever drew when I was in grade school, that when I simplify it now as an adult, it looks like my drawings when I was in grade school. And I'm thinking, this can't be right, could it? So I guess I try to simplify it in ways where it doesn't look like my drawings when I was 6 years old. Does that make sense at all? That's how I feel. Anyways, back to the drawing. The leaf of this daisy is also a bit difficult, but if you split it into two sections, the first one being a heart shape at the bottom, and in the middle of the heart, draw like an upside down U. Then you can just add the hands or fingers of the leaf to each shape. At least that's what they look like to me. Breaking down whatever you're drawing into shapes is always a good go to if something looks difficult or complicated to draw. So there's one side of the heart, there's the upside down U, and then there's the other side of the heart. And there you go. That was kind of easy. Okay, so for the next plant or tree leaf, which is a eucalyptus, this was really, really simple. All you need to do is draw lines for the stems, then draw their leaves as ovals. I drew them straight down over the stem. I also drew them off center from the stem, but follow your reference on where to place them. It's super, super easy. But basically, they are just tiny ovals with a line. Out of all of the plants on today's video, the eucalyptus leaves are definitely the easiest. And then I decided to play around with the style, tried to make it more modern by drawing circles and dots. I didn't really like it. It seems like this could be a simplified version of another plant, but for the eucalyptus, not so much. I'm sticking with the ovals. Okay, so tulips are next on the list. These are my favorite to draw, but I'm biased because I think they are super cute. Look at how they look in the vase. So for the leaves, I don't really, it's hard for me to explain how to draw the leaves, but they're pretty simple. As you can see me sketch it here, it's just drawing one line down and connecting the end of each line with another line. It's pretty simple, and as long as you practice it, do it over and over, it's really going to be second nature, just as easy as the eucalyptus. For the petals of the tulip, I draw a teardrop shape, then a heart shape, or half of a heart shape. I draw the teardrop using two strokes, but it can be done in a one line swoop, like you're drawing a teardrop, and then connect half of a heart to the other side. Either way, if you draw the teardrop in one stroke or two strokes, it's almost identical. And here I'm just going to keep drawing a few more examples of how I draw the petals. Again, keep drawing and practicing a teardrop and half a heart. That's all it is. Super easy. I also played around with the second part of the tulip. So the heart side of the tulip, you can make that pointed. So you can just play around with it. Once you get the hang of simplifying any drawing, any flower, any plant or leaf, then you can play around with it and, you know, try different ways. Just like how I tried the eucalyptus and I didn't like it. And like how I'm noticing I don't like that really long tulip stem sticking out, so I'm just redoing it. So stuff like that. Okay, so on to the snake plant. These live forever. I've had one since 2009, I believe. Yeah, 2009. That ages me. But I've had one since 2009 and it's only multiplied since. They're super easy to take care of and they're super easy to draw. It's basically the shape of a skinny S or curved line and attaching one tip of that line to the other with another line. Pretty much the same as the tulip leaves. I think the only thing with this plant that's a little difficult is the color. So painting it correctly. But with practice, like everything else, it'll come second nature. So next is the dragon tree. This is going to be super, super easy. I don't know how to explain it, but when you see my sketch and you see the sample image, it's pretty self-explanatory. My mistake in my drawing is that I made the leaves sprout up, down, left, right, everywhere, when if you notice in both examples on the image, it's going just straight up. And to the sides. There's nothing pointing downwards like I did. So when you do draw this, just be careful not to make the same mistake I did. So for the cactus, I drew 3 upside down U shapes. I drew them side by side, but they can be drawn with one in front of the other or behind the other, just like the photo in the red cup. I also added a flower on top of these, and I basically drew a U shape on top of the cactus pad. I guess that's what you call it. And I added a pointy M to close the top of it, if you can see what I did. And for the other example, they're basically a bunch of, again, upside down U's piling up on one another. I strayed off from the example. I don't know why, but hopefully it doesn't look too weird. So the bamboo plant, it's pretty easy. The stem is like the dragon tree, so it's thicker than a eucalyptus, so you're going to use 2 lines to create the stem. And just like the tulip leaves, the shape of the bamboo leaves are pretty much the same. And just like the example images, I drew the leaves sprouting from the top or just coming off from the side. Roses are actually fun to draw. So what I do for the top, where the petals are bunched up on top of each other, I draw a spiral and I try to get the spiral as small as possible. And then right underneath the spiral, I draw the tulip, and that's it. Super easy. So I will continue to draw more roses just to get my practice in, and then we will move into the final plant of the day. last plant of the day is called the random, aka rando plant. Just because it's not for a specific plant. What I'm drawing is just a bunch of squiggles. When I see a bush, a potted plant with a lot of greenery or leaves, this is my go-to. I look for the shape of the bush or plant, sketch the shape out or imagine the shape in my head, then I draw the squiggle within that shape. And when I add the final touches to this type of bush or plant that I draw, as you notice in the image example, the flowers, I keep them simple as well. I just paint dots as the flowers, as you'll see when we get towards the end of the video. But that's basically it. All right, so I'm going to get to inking, watercoloring, and then I will see you all on the other side. Alright all, as I wrap up this video, I hope you learned a few tips and tricks and you added this to your sketchbook. I did an extra page in my sketchbook with the bamboo, the daisy, and a rose, which I will share with you all in the future. Until the next video, stay positive, stay creative, and of course, always be kind.